standing press, our pushing motion, general motor pattern for the chest, shoulders, and triceps. Rice is going to start with a bilateral press from the standing anchored position, the door anchor position, or the resistance band style. She's going bilateral. She climbs inside the band, and she's going to grab that band about shoulder width apart. And she's got it on the outside of her shoulders. Actually, let's show them real quick. She could reach over the top and load that through the hand here. If that doesn't feel too wonky on your hand or create too much problems, gloves are great with the resistance bands. Go back to what you're comfortable with. Bilateral press. We're going to have her start in a postural position and press out. Get ready, set, round one, begin. 12 repetitions of press, drawing those shoulders out actively, pushing through the knuckles. Yeah, she's got to make sure she presses through the knuckles so she doesn't crank those wrists back. Drawing the shoulder blades back to stabilize the band and control the band, and squeezing the shoulders, front of the shoulders, chest, and upper arm on the press out. Going for 12 repetitions, making sure she's not shrugging as that band comes toward her. She's controlling both in and out of the press and really giving good tight effort on that press forward. It's a whole body exercise doing it from this standing position because you have to find grounding, you have to find stabilization and isolation through the rest of your body. You can rest there, give it about 30 seconds in between. Really depends on how hard you're going. Your volume of rest would increase with the intensity that you're putting out. So if we're hitting our max capabilities, we might need a little bit more rest than 30 seconds here. So she's now going to load for a one-arm press. We're going to take that staggered stance position so she's anchored a little bit more to fight against the rotational component of a unilateral upper body exercise. So she's loaded with the same side back. This time she's grabbed over the top and loaded more through the thumb here. Let's begin. Yeah, this one she's giving you a little bit of a twist. That's fine too, especially if you're trying to wiggle off of that band so it's not rubbing on your underarm or anything like that. Now she's got that hammer fist press. As she pushes up, she's squeezing right here in the front of her shoulder. She's also squeezing the back side of that arm to extend the elbow. And really, one of the hardest parts of the pressing is loading back, is the stability and instability that you're going to feel of the press versus the row. There's a lot more shoulder reaction time and instability that has to be trained here. 12 repetitions on both sides coming up for the unilateral press. Good job. She's still pressing up to shoulder height. Go ahead and switch. Slightly in toward the midline of her body as she pushes that up and forward. Same thing, side B. Let's begin. Good. Try to match Rice's cadence. As we said earlier in the series, we want to move smooth and steady in both directions, but especially in the load as you're drawing back in this case. You're going to drive forward pretty strong and then draw back to load it properly so that we're not wiggling or finagling out of that in the joint. Especially on the left side, you're going to feel that the dominance, the neuromotor connections aren't quite as strong. There's going to be a bit more shakiness and even more of a tendency to try to compensate. Good strong positioning, 12 repetitions. Allow that time under tension to build, and at the end of the set, we start to find some fatigue. That's how we know we're getting it done. Reps 12, we rest again. If you're not feeling like you're finding that fatigue or that challenge, obviously that's where we start to bump up our load and move up in small increments, and then we test it again and we see if we found that limitation. You know you found your limitations if you're starting to cheat, if you feel your body moving in and out, your shoulder rolling, your whatever. There's compensation that will happen toward the end of these sets. That's when you know you've met your match. Last round is a bilateral press. Final pump here. A little bit longer on that rest. So we get a good strong press. I'm going to back up out of her way here a little bit. For the pressing motion, I do like to go more into an anchored position. Let's do an anchored bilateral press here. because it gives us a little more to secure against, especially in that row, or I mean in that press. It's similar in the row. Let's begin. You can do anchored positions from here. We'll do 6 with her right leg back. Squeeze and release, nice and steady. Good, good mindful tension. Straighten those wrists out a little bit, lead through the knuckles. It takes work from your forearm here a little bit to keep those wrists in the position. Number 6, and we'll switch stances. Good, look back, switch your legs. And then begin again, number 7. There we go, smooth and strong. Over time, the more effort you put into securing those joints, the more you're going to start to feel like this is fatiguing, the more neural component you're getting, the more muscular component you're getting, and the more results you'll get. Good job. You can hear that the elevation of the heart rate starting to come around, the breathing starts to come around. Very good. And 12. Excellent work on the press.